Good day and welcome to Dungeon Mizer. The word on the street is that Disney is going to be buying Fox. And that comes with a lot of implications. So today we're looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly of this deal. Okay, so Disney/Marvel is going to be buying Fox, probably in the next 2 days. Unless something goes horribly awry, we will see a major player in home entertainment. Not that Disney wasn't already one of the biggest, if not the biggest, but by buying Fox outright, it's really flexing its muscles. Besides having all the Fox properties in movies, and the Disney, and the Star Wars, and Marvel, they'll also have ABC and Fox TV channels. Now, Fox News is going to be something completely separate, as they've already got ABC News, but this still makes them a huge player. Now, what is the good? The good is that finally we get to see the Fantastic Four not done super crappy, and we get to see them interact with the Avengers and the X-Men and the whole Marvel Universe. I mean, the only person we're really not seeing here now that's been somewhere out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far is Blade, and hey, there's always room for Blade. But actually that brings up a point that I'm going to bring up in the last section. So in this section, we get the good. We get awesome villains now. One of the complaints that some people have had about Marvel's villains are they're kind of turkeys. Like we've got Loki, who is awesome, Ultron, who is awesome, and we've got Thanos, who is wicked. But after that, without the Spider-Man villains, the Fantastic Four villains, the X-Men villains, there's not a lot of places to go. You're missing out on Kang, you're missing out on Doctor Doom, Galactus, the Silver Surfer, everything that gets involved with all that whole pantheon of characters. And we're not even counting what Spider-Man brings in, since he is not a Fox property, but a Sony property. You're still missing out on bringing all those Spider-Man villains into the Marvel fold. Now, Marvel's doing the Spider-Man Homecoming movies, but I don't think we're going to see any Spider-Man villains any day soon in, say, an Avengers movie or in a crossover with one of the other movies. But I could be wrong. But just the fact that you can have Doctor Doom and Galactus makes this wicked. Can you imagine the first team up between some of the X-Men and some of the Avengers, and the villain is Magneto? Wicked. I mean, Apocalypse. Huge villain, right? Massive. He's basically a god. I mean, he was in the last X-Men Apocalypse movie. These are the kinds of universal threats that the Avengers need. And by bringing them into the fold, it's going to make the Marvel Cinematic Universe even more delicious and large and varied, which keeps us from getting bored and rehashing the same stuff over and over again, which leads to the demise of superhero movies, and nobody wants that except for the people who are sticks in the mud. So that is awesome. Now, that also means that Marvel can finally ditch doing that terrible Inhumans TV show and actually make some X-Men TV shows. Now, there are some X-Men themed shows. The Gifted is on, which is decent. And if I'm not mistaken, that's Fox, so basically they've got the X-Men back there. But they can actually start doing some cool things, having them interact with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. instead of having, you know, this brutal version of the Inhumans running around. And they can stop pushing the Inhumans to take the place of mutants in the Marvel Universe because they didn't have access to them cinematically. And will that affect the comic books? I don't know. Maybe we will see some better X-Men comics. Now, are the X-Men comics out there bad? They're not bad, but I gotta say, they're really not breaking any new ground. Now, is that because the comics industry, the Marvel Comics division, has purposely let the ball drop on X-Men? Or is it just they've gotten left by the wayside because of the popularity of the Avengers? I don't know, but we will find out in time. Also, maybe they can stop making some of these Inhuman comics that no one buys. Again, I'm a fan of small comics. There are comics that I buy that are not high on lots of people's pull list, and they're awesome and people just aren't giving them the chance. But it really seems like Inhumans were forced down our throats. So, bringing X-Men back into the fold, wicked. We haven't seen a Fantastic Four comic for years. Now, next week comes issue 1 by Chip Zdarsky and Jimmy Chung doing Marvel 2-in-1, number 1, The Thing and the Human Torch. Now, is this the lead into the Fantastic Four coming back into the fold? We've seen hints in other comics of the Fantastic Four kind of reintegrating maybe back into the Marvel Universe regular with our regular heroes. But now that they've got them cinematically, maybe the push will be on. It will be full force to bring them back because this is Marvel's superhero family. It's a family book. I mean, we've all seen The Incredibles. That's how good the Fantastic Four can be. And if you do think the Fantastic Four is crappy, you need to go back and read some of the real seminal runs, like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the stuff that John Byrne did, the run that Jonathan Hickman did. There is lots of wicked, wicked stuff out there. And can they return to those glory days? I hope so, especially with the movies, because these movies, they have been, you know, not very good. So hopefully we finally get a good Fantastic Four movie out there. And maybe they'll make their first appearance in Avengers 4. Who knows? That, you know, they go and film a cameo just to get them in there, or something that leads into the Fantastic Four franchise getting rebooted in the movies. I mean, Black Panther originally wasn't going to be part of the the Civil War movie, and then they put him in there, and then Spider-Man became available, and they went back and threw Spider-Man in. So they can do these things. They do have time. But again, I'm not the one making the movies. I don't know how much has been filmed. I don't know how tight the script is. But the possibilities are very exciting. Now, what is some of the bad? Well, some of the bad is that Disney is becoming a major player, aka a monopoly. They are becoming so huge and so powerful in movies and TV that they're going to start forcing other people out. And you can say, oh, Dungeon Mizer, that's how business works. Yes, that is how business works. But businesses also shouldn't become monopolies. And you're looking now where Disney is going to be creating their own video streaming service, so they won't be using Netflix anymore. So you've got all the Disney movies off there, all the Marvel movies off there. Will all the Fox movies follow suit? It is quite possible. And then, what have you got? You've got Disney controlling 2 of the 4 major cable television networks. You've got a huge studio. You've got control of Star Wars, arguably the biggest science fiction franchise out there. You've got control of Marvel, which is the biggest superhero movie franchise out there right now. And then you're going to bring in more of that Marvel universe, where it should be with the other characters, but also acquiring Fox in the process. It makes me think, is Sony far behind? Sony's been in trouble for many years. And why wouldn't they want their number 1 hero back into the fold? Right now they've got a deal with Sony where they can use Spider-Man, but a lot of his other universe is still held by Sony. Thusly, how Sony is putting out a Venom movie in the next year. The Venom movie trailer, if you haven't seen it, looks very cool. It's very dark. It's very sinister. It is not like your regular superhero fare from the looks of it. But again, how long until Disney / Star Wars / Marvel / Lucasfilm / Fox goes after Sony? And we get to the ugly. The ugly part of this deal is Disney doesn't make R-rated material. And you could say, you know, why is that such a big concern of mine? Deadpool, which Fox has, is R-rated, and fantastically R-rated, the way it should be R-rated. Logan was R-rated. That was an R-rated movie. Could you have made it without an R rating? Yes. Would it have been as good? No. There wasn't gratuitous nudity or violence for the sake of violence. It was all part of the story that needed to be told. And Disney doesn't do R. Now, are they going to change that? Or is this the end? Have we seen the last Deadpool we're going to see in Deadpool 2? Have we seen the last movie like Logan that we're ever going to see? Because these characters are going to be candified by Disney. Now, that doesn't mean that some of those other movies aren't gritty and awesome. But some heroes are meant to be darker. Right now, Netflix has The Punisher, and apparently Netflix can retain the rights for Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and the Punisher. They also have the Kingpin, which is also interesting because he can be a major player too in these movies. But the Punisher, if they ever go to make a Punisher movie, how do you make that without making it an R-rated movie? I don't know. I don't know if I want to see a Punisher movie that's not R-rated. It would just seem like stuff is being cut out, like you're making it with one arm tied behind your back. For me, that's the ugly side of this deal. But the deal has yet to happen. It's going to be happening in 1.5 days. And once it drops, hopefully we'll get some more specifics. And we'll find out just how heavily this is going to impact your movie and TV and comic book enjoyment of Marvel Comics. Until next time, I'm the Dungeon Mizer. Dungeon Mizer out.